Thank you so much for coming. Wow, what a fantastic turnout. It's our absolute pleasure to welcome you here to our masterclass.
So yeah, I'm really surprised that we have so many people here, especially after the party evening yesterday. So we're already feeling a little bit tired, so please bear with us. Yeah, and I think speaking about offline marketing on a digital exhibition, it's quite challenging as well. So therefore, thanks a lot for being here.
Yeah, well, speaking of fantastic things happening today, how about that festival happening in another hall, right? Quentin Tarantino speaking. Any Pulp Fiction fans here? Yeah? Well, do you know what they call TV tracking in France? Le TV tracking royal. And we're starting. So what we're going to go through today is to talk about a little bit what offline marketing is, what kind of measurement can it provide, and why you should care about it. But first things first, let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah, on my right, it's Maria. It's our director of product at DCMN. So she's leading all our initiatives globally to support the growth of our clients and to be smarter, faster, and really data-driven. So she has an extensive background in programmatic advertising, was working for 7 years on the tech side. And on some personal note, she's an avid traveler. She loves TV shows, what makes it quite fantastic for offline. She loves Thai boxing, so therefore take care, don't bear with her.
Very smooth. Thanks, Ulrike. And it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Ulrike Tusk, our global expert of offline marketing. Ulrike has over 18 years of hands-on marketing experience under her belt, and she has worked in companies like Eno Games, Good Games, even Yambar, yeah, that annoying ringtone company.
So yeah, I was young and needed the money, so it's...
And of course, Babbel. So when Ulrike is not helping our teams work more efficiently, she is busy watching football, basketball, hockey, and she's doing Muay Thai. Yeah, that's right. Marketing is what unites us, but Thai boxing is where our passions lie.
So yeah, speaking about joining forces, oh no, you have a further slide to say, right?
No, it's all right. Actually, the next slide is all about the Q&A that we are going to have a little bit after our session. So we have set up this thing called Slido. It's Slido.do. You can access it through your mobile browser, or you can download an app. After that, you can just input the 6757 or 6757. That's all German I got today. But if you go there, and you can submit your questions starting now, and the line is open. So we do have quite a lot to cover today. First, we're going to talk about why offline marketing, why are we here. Then we will go to measurement and focus, what it is, why it is important to do in offline. We'll talk about the campaign setup and optimization, and then we'll take a look at the real client case that we have here at DCMN. And then, as already mentioned, going to Q&A.
So, yeah, and what we want to cover today, we want we have 5 questions we want to answer today, and we are hoping that you are really getting it as a takeaway. So the first question is, what does offline offer to a digital brand? Because obviously we are speaking on a digital conference. So how to get started with offline? Can offline channels be measured? Quite important, I would say. So then what are the approaches to offline measurement at all? So it should turn up here. So yes. So and then what to do after measurement?
That's right.
So, and then a quick intro about DCMN. So not just talking about us, talking about our company we are working for as well. So DCMN is a growth marketing partner to digital brands globally. So we are offering a full range of services like strategy consulting, media planning and booking, creative and production, and our own range of measurement products. So therefore we have Maria with us. And it's founded 12 years ago. The focus was always on digital first companies. And yeah, already worked with brands like Ring.com, Wooga, Deezer, Vinted. Maybe you know some of them. So, and obviously furthermore.
That's right. As Ulrike mentioned, we have a variety of products for measurement and tracking. Our pioneer product called DC Analytics, what was really a DNA for DCMN all those years ago. So we provide tracking and measurability for out-of-home and TV channels. More to come soon, so stay tuned for news. And we have helped over 190 brands to optimize how they look at their performance and how do they measure the success. So let's kick things off with asking the first question, shall we? Why offline? And moreover, why are we talking about offline at an online marketing conference?
So, because it could be the missing part of the piece, or the cherry on the cake. But just for giving you a quick remark, so speaking about offline marketing, so offline marketing has obviously a huge range, so from print to radio, out of home, TV, and so on. Today, we are focusing on TV and out of home because, yeah, it's the most relevant for growth. So at least we are saying this. So.
That's right. And there's another reason why we decided to talk about TV and out of home today is because we genuinely like that type of advertising. So I'm a big 60s fan, the golden age of advertising, and that era cannot be mentioned without all the fantastic creativity it brought to the viewers and the home viewers and to the commuters all over the world. Cokes, it's the real thing. Kool-Aid and even Heinz, all are great examples of the ads I haven't witnessed myself, but it's going to stay with me forever. So being authentic, yet timeless, we believe that's what also defines offline channels, and that's why we're speaking to you about it today.
And to give you some top-level bullet points about offline marketing. So offline marketing or offline media is still a mass media. So yes, you're already saying the audience is shrinking on TV, but still a lot of people watching it. So it's just because of that we may be not using it anymore. There's still millions of people out there which are still watching TV. So and at which medium you can reach several million people at the same time and creating emotions.
Absolutely. Plus, no one here is going to deny that we have all sometimes we're get together in front of a TV and watch and root for our favorite sports team, or even tune into such an event like Super Bowl, right? Even though I'm not a football fan myself, I still like to track and see what kind of creativity do advertisers bring every year. So yeah, you can say, okay, well, this is great, and having those real life sports events, that's all relevant. But though aren't they more of a one-time thing, sort of event during a year, Ulrika?
Obviously, there are a lot of highlight events like Super Bowl or Grand Prix, or so Eurovision Song Contest. So last Saturday, so I was watching it. So maybe some the people, yes. So, but still, it's reaching several million per day at the same second, independent if it's a highlight event or if it's, let's say, the normal programming. So here's an example. These are the fresh numbers from yesterday. So In aller Freundschaft, a very German program on ARD, achieved yesterday 4.45 million people from 3+ on. So, okay, it's maybe not the relevant target group. A further example of yesterday, relevant target group between 14 to 49. They had the highest reach yesterday, Joko in class, gegen ProSieben, and still reaching 1 million people. So, and this is a random Tuesday. So think about maybe on a Friday, Saturday, there are some more people, some programs like, I don't know, Germany's Next Top Model, something like this.
Okay, Ulrike, that's all great, but didn't Der Spiegel reach like 8 million people yesterday on their website?
Yeah, but they need 24 hours, so we were doing it in 1 minute. So, just saying.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, and speaking about, speaking about offline media, so it's adding offline media into the mix could create more touch points. So here, speaking about the usual workday, probably not for us, so, but still, the average German is going to work in the office. So meanwhile, again, but it can somehow work for us as well with flexible working hours as well. So at first, what we are doing, we are waking up, probably grabbing the phone, checking smartphone, checking mobile, social media accounts. So I'm that old, I'm still on Facebook. And still have probably a MySpace account.
You're really old.
But yeah, this is then the first, let's say, digital contact which you have. So, but then going further through the day, so while brushing teeth or having breakfast, maybe you're watching TV or listening to radio. Is someone of you listening radio or watching TV in the morning? Yeah, still a lot of people. So to be honest, I'm quite lazy. Meanwhile, I'm watching TV in the morning because then I don't have to read the news. So, but here, we have the first offline touch point here. So going throughout further the day. So we are leaving the flat for commuting to the office or going around the corner to get to the fancy coffee place. So you can't hide anyway, so because you are having then out of home, a lot of out of home, independent where you're going, so you have it on the public transport, you have it on the street or wherever. So therefore, a lot of further offline touch points. During working, okay, we are mostly digital then, but a lot of people listening to radio at this time as well. So here again, a mix out of digital touch points and offline touch points. And then after firearm, so either you are heading home, or you're going out for dinner, meeting friends, going to a cinema, concerts or whatsoever, and still further touch points you can reach out to your potential clients. And in the evening, hanging out in bed, having again mobile, checking social media, news or whatever. So, and it's everything what I told is visible here in this graph. This is then the touch point monitor. Yeah. Where you can see what is the average usage of each single channel throughout the day. And you're seeing the digital usage is quite even throughout the day. So we have some prime time in radio in the morning, prime time in the evening for TV. But it's, let's say, going somehow hand in hand. So, and this means that if you're adding further offline channels, and you're adding further touch points, and you can create storytelling then from one touch point to another, and then really relate it to the situation. So maybe it makes it more understandable why offline could fit into the marketing mix just simply for increasing the touch points. So, and all of these touch points making no sense without a good creative. So speaking about creative, so there are fantastic possibilities, for example, being very graphical. So I think most of you knowing this TV spot without that it's running.
Yeah, we see some nods.
Yeah.
In case you don't.
So, yes, it's Kinderriegel. So it's, you just saw the graphic and you had immediately an impression about what kind of brand it is, and you can remind on this, and maybe you have some emotions about this as well. So, and but not just speaking about graphics. So there's a good possibility to, let's see if it's working. So because it's a little bit now improvised. So you can address the people audible as well. So and you can create really nice jingles which are sticking in your head. And this is one of my most favorite jingles. Let's see who can remind us, and let's see if this is working. So I think some people can remember on that. Yeah, I see here someone nodding. So it's yes, it's from the 90s. Okay, here again, I'm quite old. So, but I really love that, and this is just as an example that Mentos jingle. It's really quite old. It's, I don't know, 20, 30 years old, but still sticking in our mind. And we have some kind of further jingles, like, I don't know, Magenta Telekom has a really known jingle and so on. So, and if we are putting it together, so we can really create storytelling, emotional advertisement, which is ideally attracting your clients, potential clients as well. So, this was just quickly about that. So, but I'm working in a digital environment since years, so, and meanwhile, yeah, some of the most boring questions I heard in the last years were almost the same. And this is then, damn, our growth is stagnating. What are we doing about it? So the next question could be, damn, we are depending on 2 or 3 tech giants like Amazon, Google, Facebook. So what are we doing when they are kicking us out? So Google has sometimes a tendency. So, and the third question is then, for example, I'm currently not seeing it. So how I can avoid fraud and bot traffic. So I think it's in the last years it became more and more relevant. So that, I don't know, can you think about that offline is creating somehow bot or fraud traffic?
Well, haven't heard any cases so far, but let's, keep the creativity open.
It's maybe a good challenge, so to think about how you can create fraud traffic on offline media. So, and then last but not least, and why are so many digital companies doing offline? Do they have too much money to burn? So like, I don't know, maybe you saw some out-of-home campaigns of Gorillas or Flink, or Idealo is doing regularly TV campaigns and so on. Honestly speaking, I have no idea if they are burning money because it's not our clients. But I would assume they are having an idea behind that, and they are really thinking about ROI. So maybe later on you will understand, getting an idea how they could do that. So, but questions, answers to this question is then, yes, offline can create further growth. I'm not just believing it, I'm knowing it. So then it's diversifying your marketing mix, so you're becoming less depending on one or two digital partners. Then, yeah, with creating different and more touch points, yeah, you're increasing then the traffic anyways. You don't create bot traffic. So and then in the end, very important for you probably, it's measurable and with that possible to optimize. So a little bit more high levels on a digital marketing side, but it's possible. So probably everybody knows the marketing funnel, quite easy. If you want to get out a lot of things out down there, you have to put in a lot on the bottom. So how we are doing this and how we are seeing then the different channels. So that is then on the next click, you can see with TV, for example, and out of home on top, this is how we are increasing the traffic in the beginning so that you get more out in the end. So quite easy, putting a lot of traffic in the top, get a lot of customers out at the bottom. This is where TV and out of home can support you. So what's the next slide? So to show you, we created a practical example for you to make it a little bit more visible. So therefore, we founded a company.
That's right. Meet Ray Bark. So both Ulrika and I come from Berlin, and in Berlin, we really like to take care of our little furry friends. So with the summer coming and the sun shining, we thought, why not bring a product to the market that would help our little ones to protect their eyes. So Ulrika, let's take an example. Let's imagine that we have already quite some digital presence, also doing some social media online for Raybark, right? And we're thinking maybe we should do something else since we're seeing a bit of a plateau in terms of our sales on the website and whatnot. Ulrika, you being an offline expert, would you recommend us going a little bit of a campaign in offline?
As an offline expert, I have to recommend this, but in the end, it depends. It depends on the product and on the product stage. But I would say at first some questions. So, who are your customers?
Oh, poodles, Labradors, Chihuahuas.
Okay, nice. Human customers.
Male, female, 25 to 50. We do have a national-wide store available online, but our flagship store is in Berlin.
So highly likely Berlin, Prenzlauer Berg. So they're like this fancy stuff. So it means this sounds already for me that TV for the national presence could be really helpful, and then really to focus on the local part in Berlin, then out-of-home placements around the flagship store could definitely help. So therefore, yeah, I think there's a good chance to increase your traffic.
Okay, if that sounds all good, but what would you recommend as a starter budget? Because that can be tricky, right?
Not at all. So now, don't be shocked. Yeah. So for I think around about 2 months of TV, then we are speaking about 200K for TV and probably so 50K for out of home. Okay, yeah, I expected that. So obviously we can discuss on that. So it's obviously always depending on the test setup at all. So we can reduce the test setup, so just running on 1 month, for example, or whatever. But it's then really depending from case to case. But in the end, we can still measure it. So, and this is the point. We can show you that it's turning out in a positive way.
All right. Well, that all sounds great. Then if we want to increase our sales in the summer, it means that we should start early, right? Shouldn't we do maybe like a test campaign in spring?
No, I would say at first, so it's quite good for this product to start in spring. So because when the sun is coming out, then everybody's running out with the poodles, chihuahuas, and Labradors as well. So then, therefore, highly likely it would be nice to start in April, May. So I would say then, and here we can start the test campaign, and we can create data which we are using then to optimize in the next month, for example. So you have an idea about the company, I would say, where it's standing and so on. So we did now a little bit media planning magic. We are not bothering you with the details. We did it. We can do that. Nice. So campaign is set up, running, and then it's about measurement. So what's going on there?
That's right. Thank you, Ulrika. So imagining that we have already planned our campaign, as Ulrika said, and now Ray Bark, as in me representing the team, we want to understand a little bit what's going on and what can we do with that data. So first, yes, let me introduce to you a thing called attribution modeling. So it's not the only approach or framework that you could use to measure offline, but this is the one I'm going to be talking to you about today. So what attribution modeling does, it allows marketers to analyze how much credit should each marketing channel and customer touchpoint receive for every conversion and every event happening. So this way, over time, this approach would allow you to optimize your programs, your activities toward the channels and touchpoints that drive the most value. So you could see how all your channels are stacking up. There are 5 things to know essentially about attribution modeling. First of all, offline ads drive website traffic. Obviously, not everyone watching your ad is going to immediately go to your website or download your app, but with DC Analytics, the tool that we mentioned before, we regularly see huge uplifts in paid search, organic search, and direct website traffic immediately following an aired spot. Second, out-of-home is not just a brand channel. Yeah, that's right. So historically, out-of-home and other medias like radio, they've been considered brand channels, and marketers would use it to then see how the brand awareness and other brand metrics are stacking up. Well, actually, nowadays, a lot of marketers are tuning in and enabling out-of-home in their marketing mix to see how does out-of-home and digital out-of-home impact not just the visits, but also in-store conversions, right, in-store sales, paid search, organic search as well. So lots and lots of things. So you can actually measure that, and I'll show you some tricks in a minute. Third, basically attribution is only as good as the underlying data model that you have. So attribution modeling, that's, as you can see in the word, it has word modeling, so data science. If you don't have good data, and if you don't have enough of the customer touch points and enough of your own website logs and activity data, you're not going to get a very good representation of what's happening. However, using TV schedules or TV logs blended in together with the geolocation data or national footprint, you could create a very adjustable and variable attribution model that would then be very, very useful for any needs that you have. Fourth, consider investing in having some resources to then analyze the data that you're getting with the attribution modeling. So having some results is great, but who is going to do actual analysis for it? So usually we recommend having somebody on your team, or just even allocating at least 30% of your team's time to really paying attention to how the performance is going and what you can do to, maybe make some decisions. And last but not least, everything that you learn in your first or a couple of first campaigns, those things are going to be driven towards optimizing your future success, right? So it's not just about reading the data again and having the reliable data, but also optimizing it for the future. How are you going to take the results and learnings and apply it in your future campaigns? For example, you can adjust the channel mix that you have for TV, or you can adjust the locations for out-of-home and stuff like that. Speaking about TV specifically, there are 2 parts of any TV campaign that we see after an ad has been aired. So there is a direct impact window and an indirect one. So the 7-minute example here shown is just a standard thing that we're using for a lot of our clients, but actually that thing can also be customized. So when you're looking at just the direct response, direct type of attribution, you're only looking at the one puzzle, one piece of the whole attribution puzzle. You may be losing some conversions if you're not considering attributing everything that happens outside of the 7-minute window. Why? Well, because your viewers are not just going to immediately forget about a TV ad right after they saw it, right? Some time can pass, and then they would go to your website or something like that. And same, actually, with out-of-home, right? Like, nobody just forgets about a billboard if they saw, if the product and the messaging was relevant. So same thing here with TV. We suggest always to expand that window a little bit. And with DC Analytics, our tool, we're measuring both so that we can not just have a relative performance indicator, but an absolute and a total one with campaign effect as well. Moving into the out-of-home world, actually, there are also some tips and tricks, so the ones that I mentioned. First of all, one thing that we consider activating for our clients is activating a brand tracker. So yes, I already mentioned some of the metrics like brand awareness, but actually there is much more that you can measure. So within DCMN, we have our own digital brand tracker, so that's why we have that luxury of getting data available for our clients every month. And there we can measure consideration, brand awareness, perception, and stuff like that. But that is also something that you can just take a look at how your out-of-home campaign is performing. Second, that's the exit polls, right? So the exit polls is actually a really powerful tool that you may be considering not using just for the traditional channels, but for everything. Because with exit polls, you have real, unfiltered client data, client responses that now you can analyze and see how the audience is responding to it, right? Another thing you could do is also activate some sort of tracking right in the billboard, even if you're using a traditional out-of-home, poster, billboards, using QR codes, using vouchers. This way, when people are accessing your website and your app, you can see and track directly if they, where did they come from, which kind of billboard drove that person to your website to make a conversion. And last but not least, it's a performance tracker. So once again, for our clients, we're using this analytics, but there are actually a lot of different tools out there and solutions that provide this as well. So the approach that we're taking with performance tracking is we're taking a target region, so where is our client's campaign actually going to be shown, versus a control region. So something that we're going to just compare our results to, and then we use a causal impact algorithm modeling to then actually see what was the impact of the campaign in the target market, the one that we wanted. So these are just 3 examples of what you could do, and all of those we would also recommend to Raybark. So yes, as you can see, the well-known attribution modeling can and should be used across all channels and not just digital. Moreover, as cookies go away, I'm sure you know better than I do, that we're going to lose a lot of tools and knowledge to see how everything is being measured online. So at DCMN, we believe that the future of campaign and analysis is going to be in a holistic view. So with this, when we're talking about holistic, when we're talking about the total, you can't just exclude offline channels from there. They're part of the thing, and they should be measured as well. So now going back to Raybark, and so last time we were speaking about it, we did a little bit of planning, we did a little bit of campaign setup, so now we're up and running, and we recommended our client to select a channel tracker, so to actually see how the campaign is performing. Yeah, don't be surprised, but this time it just happened to be DC Analytics, and I'm going to show you a sneak peek into how they're doing. So first of all, looking at their TV campaign, what we can immediately see is the benefit of having not just tracked events, but also the tracked budget spent together with the revenue and sales, so you can get your ultimate ROI always being visible within the tool. So this is very useful for our clients, and we see that being quite popular in general. So for our April to May campaign, as you can see, even though we are kind of ongoing, on the graph we can immediately see the uplift in the website traffic. We're also able to measure stuff like organic search, paid search, and other type of traffics, because we do a lot of filtering so that we can only get a real modeling around what was the TV impact. So yeah, when I'm talking about modeling, there's a lot of prediction, there's a lot of data science happening there. That's why the results are reliable. Regarding the visits, leads, and checkouts, those are just examples of what we configured as custom events for Raybark. So for their product, Sunglasses for Dogs, as you can see, we are able to see how many visits did the TV campaign drive to the website, how many leads and checkouts did we have. So also really, really good, because now you can have the transparency to understand the cost per visit, as well as the cost per conversion and stuff like that. Overall, these are not just the events that you can measure with any TV tracker. You can actually configure a bunch of those. And moreover, if you have multiple campaigns running at the same time or multiple products within the same campaign or something, you can also configure it so that your attribution is going to be done accurately and only on the products that they drove. So there is no conflict or anything happening there. Moreover, another important thing for Raybark, imagining, was to have a little bit more analytics into how their campaign is going on different dimensions. So the 2 dimensions I'm showing you here include a day part split, where we can immediately see, right, with the dark purple thing, that the Sunday slots are really working out for Raybark, so probably you should take that into optimization a little bit later. And second, just an example also of the different channel split, right? We are also able to attribute, and always recommend to our clients to see what are the different channels and how do they impact your visits or any other events that you're tracking. And yeah, on this slide immediately you can see that the cost per conversion comparing to visits is very visible, and again, you can take that as a learning to optimize your next campaign. But enough about TV. What about out of home? No, don't worry, we can measure that as well. So with out of home, we chose the mentioned target versus control region approach. And in this case, we were comparing Berlin to Dresden, Frankfurt, and Hamburg. Dresden, Hamburg, and Frankfurt being the control region markets, right? So the regions where we were just also seeing and analyzing the website traffic, so that we could then understand what the uplift is. So that bump, a little bump there, that's the calculated uplift after we done some modeling. So yeah, as you can see, tracking sessions from all regions and all the different platforms and channels that you're enabling. That's what you can do with offline channels as well. So with the right approach and the right tool set, we believe that you can make it work for any custom client and any custom case that you have. And moreover, measurement is an indivisible part of any successful campaign that is a huge contributor to your strategy. And what happens with strategy? You test, learn, scale.
So yes, then I'm coming here in place again. So finally, so analyzing your real campaign data. We are not just creating data for creating data. So it's nice to have, but obviously we have to work with that. So it means we are analyzing it and we are adapting our future campaigns to your goals according to our learnings which we created. So therefore, for Raybark, it means then I would recommend to Raybark as well as no results are valid unless analyzed. So for Raybark specifically, it could look like this, that you saw the graphs for the channels, for example, so where you saw the uplift for the channel and the CPV for the channel and so on. To translate it into a recommendation or to optimization, it means that what we saw that on really high reach channel like RTL and ProSieben and so on, it was really very expensive in terms of cost per visit. So here would be then the recommendation to reduce the budget or to cut the budget off, so a little bit depending on how was the split beforehand. And we saw that on smaller, more female-related channel, it was working quite well, like 6 and so on. So therefore, here increasing the budget as far as possible and maybe testing further channels as well and including then other more female-related channel into the mix as well. So like TLC, Super RTL or some Sky channel. So not just increasing or cutting the budget. So looking at the weekdays, for example, you can see a little bit more in detail. So where you can or you could increase or decrease the budget. Means here what Maria mentioned as well, that the weekend was working quite well, so therefore it could make sense to increase the budget there, and from Monday to Friday to decrease it a little bit more. So sorry. So, and this could mean that in day parts going a little bit more granular, speaking about time slots per day, that, for example, for weekdays, that the campaign is running just from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So then you're already slicing it a little bit down. So then on the weekend, you could extend the day part mix to say from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the evening. So that is, there are some ways to shift then and to distribute the budget around. And last but not least, what we've already mentioned a little bit in the beginning, so doing a flighting strategy. So obviously sunglasses, independent if they are for dogs or for humans, they are kind of, they're having a seasonality, right? So literally, not no one, but not so many people thinking about buying a sunglass during winter time, right? So therefore, we have a product seasonality. This is something what we can include in the flighting strategy as well. So saying that from April to May, we are running a test campaign. We are using the data we already have to adjust it towards the June and maybe July campaign, so that we can already create, adjust our learnings according to that and creating further learnings, and then maybe making a pause, so going off air. But it's not burned, so that because next year we can start again with our learnings we already created this year. So it's not, we are not starting by zero again. So therefore, what Maria already mentioned. So we have the test, learn, scale approach. So it means testing, starting, let's say, a little bit small, creating first data, creating learnings, and to see, okay, what is working, what is maybe not working. Then going further on the next campaign, using already the learnings which we create, constantly creating further learnings, because it's the whole marketing environment, independent if we are speaking about TV or something else, it's obviously constantly changing. So sometimes we have to adjust our learnings which we had before and as well, because a channel was changing a program or something in the world is happening, what we already saw in the last 2.5 years, which is changing everything. So, but this is what I mean with constantly learning. We are not just stopping with the first data which we have. So, and then in the end, so we are coming to that point that we are hopefully scaling till that point, what will be then a sweet spot for the company here for Waybug to say, okay, this is now the channel mix we need, this is a channel mix which is helping us. And maybe then we are speaking about 1 million campaigns per month, just because it's working.
One can dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, sounds like Waybug are in good hands, aren't they? And the approach we took is what we talked about. We are applying our practical learnings into the future growth and the future strategy. So maybe now you are maybe a little tired of our fictional cases. So sounds like a great time to go into the real client cases that we had with DCMN. So from the Gucci of canine sunglasses to the Tesla of e-bikes. So meet VanMoof. VanMoof, if you don't know, first of all, shame on you. There's a really, really cool and expensive e-bike. But second, yes, it's an Amsterdam-based e-bike company, and they sell millions of e-bikes all over the world. They're quite fashionable. In fact, rappers and big designer names like Tyler, the Creator, and Jacques Mille all opt in and are big, actually, and happy clients of VanMoof. So what we did for VanMoof last year is we decided to activate an offline, well, actually multiple offline channels for their strategy. So last year was quite a hot summer, and VanMoof wanted to make a splash. So that's why for TV, out of home, and OTT, we wanted to increase brand awareness, drive website visits, get a lot of buzz for VanMoof brand. So those are our goals, and let's now hopefully take a look at how to go. Really colorful, isn't it? So indeed, we made quite a splash and had some fantastic results.
So yes, it was a global campaign, but our client allowed us to share some knowledge about US. So therefore, we have overall really successful campaign results. But we are showing you now the results of the US campaign because VanMoof allowed us to share this with you. So at first, we achieved over 20 million impressions. So I think 20 million, already good number. So speaking about mass media, what we had in the beginning. So then the CPV for OTT had decreased by over 60%. Impressive, I would say. So and then the CPV, they achieved a CPV overall of $13.28. So maybe you're thinking about it's still quite expensive, but at first, internal benchmarks showed that we were really decreasing the cost per view, cost per visit, sorry. And last but not least, we are speaking about an e-bike which costs €2,000. So it's not a mobile app for gaming or something like this. So therefore, don't compare, please, mobile gaming or something like this in terms of CPV with here. So for VanMoof, it was definitely an absolutely success. So then overall, the traffic in the US went up by over 50% in both cities like New York and San Francisco, thanks to our integrated out-of-home, linear, and OTT campaigns. So I would say, yeah, proof it went really well. So, and then?
Indeed. Looks like it was a great campaign. But actually, that's not over. With all the learnings that we took from the campaign from last year, we were able to apply it for this year. For example, we went quite big for our out-of-home campaigns, including one, right here in Hamburg.
So maybe some people knowing that.
Very good Australian restaurant, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. But there are definitely traces of that move all over Hamburg, as well as other German cities, and also Netherlands, US, and other countries. So this was a great example of how we applied all the approaches that we talked about around the trackability, measurability, and learning from our results. So in closing words, I want to say, why should you consider measurement as part of your channel mix? Because why be in the dark when you could be in the light, right? With this, we want you to walk away with 5 things that you can tell your friends about and anywhere else. First, offline is more than just brand or awareness.
So, then it's easy to get started with offline. It's not as complicated.
Third, offline is measurable.
So, and fourth, there are many tools you can use for measurement. It's not just DC Analytics, but obviously we would recommend to take this.
And once you've measured, you can really scale. So with this, we want to thank you very much. You've been a fantastic audience. So thank you so much for listening to us.